Namaskar. Things are moving very quickly on the Ukraine-Russia front. About 20 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago, I was looking at the probability of a ceasefire happening, something along the lines of Korea, where you had the demilitarized zone between North Korea and South Korea. That option seems to have vanished and a new option has come in. So I thought I should explain to our viewers where things stand as of now. Things could change tomorrow. I'll come back with an update tomorrow on what is happening, but certainly we are going towards the climax. I have a small infographic to share with you and a request to all of you to please like this video, and also if you have not subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to our channel. Here we go. Who was Parashurama, who led a life of devotion, dedication and daring? Why did he take birth on the earth? Was it to eradicate corrupt Kshatriya rulers who had become tyrannical and oppressive, or was it to bestow daya for the needy? So, what is going on? There are three projected scenarios, three ways this can go from here. First, probability of 45% is a prolonged, low-intensity frozen conflict. This would be like, for example, whatever is happening now, but at a slightly reduced level, but there will be localized fighting, drone attacks, and artillery duels without significant territorial shift, which means neither country gains or loses ground. This scenario is supported by the current attritional nature of the war and the difficulty of achieving a decisive military victory for either side. For example, one city right now, part of it is occupied by Russia, the other part is occupied by Ukraine, and things have been like this for many weeks now. Neither one appears to be able to get control of the other side, and things are just going on. In the meantime, Ukraine is making some sneak attacks on Russia, and Russia is also pounding Ukraine. So this is going on. So what could be the key drivers? What could change? From 45%, will this go down or up? It depends upon four key drivers. Number one, sustained but limited Western military and financial support for Ukraine. This means that basically America opens its purse. How much can America open its purse is a different question. Russia's high tolerance for casualties and economic strain despite internal pressure. See, the news from Russia is a little bit mixed. Some people say that there are rationing in place for even things like fuel, because they need the fuel to fight the war. But others say, no, everything is fine. Russia is doing just fine. In fact, Russia and China have opened each other's borders for a 30-day free trip, meaning like you can enter Russia from China, stay in Russia for 30 days and do your shopping, sightseeing, whatever, come back to China, and vice versa. And this doesn't require any kind of visa or anything of that nature. So you just show up at the border and then you cross into the other country. Russians have been doing that yesterday or day before yesterday. Chinese can do the same thing into Russia. So this is a new way that they are trying to improve economic business activity between these two countries. Next, Ukraine's established defensive fortifications and adaptive military tactics. Even though Ukraine is down, it is definitely not out. So they are still trying to hang on to whatever they have, and they are making Russia fight for every inch. And the other thing is there going to be any technical breakthroughs from either side that would make them to, steal a march over the others, literally in this case, to see if there can be some kind of a breakthrough. Next option is a conditional diplomatic settlement. In this, a negotiated agreement is reached, likely under significant international pressure, read United States, leading to a ceasefire and potentially some territorial concessions by Ukraine, that is freezing current front lines in some occupied regions. The terms may not fully satisfy Ukraine's maximalist goals, but offer a cessation of large-scale hostilities. Diplomatic efforts, particularly from the US, are ongoing, though breakthrough remains elusive. So this is the other option that is there in front of the two countries. What are the key drivers here? There are again four key drivers. Intensified US diplomatic leverage. We know yesterday that Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, as well as Steve Witkoff, Trump's friend, were representing in US's interests, and they were having a one-on-one meeting with Putin, and that too before Putin flies to India. So this is a big deal. Something is cooking here. United States wants something from Putin before he left for India, or United States wants to stop Putin from giving something to India before he leaves for that trip. So something there, but the other garb was that they were going to be talking about trying to stop the war or end the war in Ukraine. Next, European pressure for de-escalation and concerns over Ukraine fatigue among Western public. Lots of things are going on here, viewers. One of the things that people are saying is that Europe wants to ensure whatever is going to be remaining of Ukraine be a part of NATO. In fact, rumors are that Zelensky said he will accept whatever US gets from Russia plus entry into NATO, and Russia is saying absolutely not for that. So would that be the sticking point at the end? Possibly, but there is a bigger picture here. The longer Putin holds out, the higher the possibilities that the Russian assets frozen in Europe and UK will become more and more difficult for the oligarchs as well as the Russian government to retrieve once the war stops. So there is that pressure also building up on Putin, because the oligarchs may be saying, look, let's settle now and get as much out as possible, because Europe is really running through their finances and they might actually eat into ours. So that is the other problem. Now, Ukraine's military and economic exhaustion, definitely they are exhausted. The average age of recruitment now, they are even taking people who are mentally unstable into the army. 16-year-olds are being lined up, even though there is a convention, if I remember correctly, that you have to be at least 18 to fight in wars. The other thing is, if Russia continues to say that, look, I'm going to consolidate my positions, I'm going to build that link to Transnistria, that would be the ultimate, because in order for them to build the link to Transnistria, they would have to actually even occupy Odessa. That's a big ask, by the way. Now, the third option, 20% probability, is escalation or Russian breakthrough. What happens if Russia has a major breakthrough? The conflict intensifies significantly, potentially due to a major Russian offensive, achieving operational breakthroughs or a qualitative escalation in weaponry and tactics. It's a definite possibility, but that will only happen if, for example, Trump pauses US aid to Ukraine. US also is concerned because they've already used up 15 to 20% of their entire arsenal and they need to rebuild. That's the other concern in front of US. What happens to other conflicts? Should they jump, right? So this is the other thing that Putin has said. He said that if you don't stop, we are going to have a bigger escalation. By the way, Putin has not displayed or deployed all the items in his arsenal in this war. He has been still doing a lot of low-key. He's been using up some of his older arms and ammunition and really playing it low-key, because Putin at the end of the day wants the Russian-speaking areas of Ukraine to be part of Russia, and he also wants to keep the people with him and not have the people hate Russians for doing any kind of atrocities or anything of that nature. So that is the other concern there. So what are the key drivers for this 20% probability? Drastic reduction or withdrawal of Western military and financial aid to Ukraine. This is a definite possibility. Money is running out for everybody. Successful Russian mobilization, industrial output, and adaptation of tactics leading to significant advances. Do you want to guess how many countries are now taking part on side of Russia? We all talk about NATO aiding Ukraine, right? Do you want to know how many are helping Russia out? Well, for sure, we know North Korean soldiers are on the ground. What about other countries who are giving aid and other assistance to Russia? The number will surprise you. People are saying it's 24 countries. So this itself could become into a mini world conflict. Ukrainian manpower starts having acute shortages, and Ukraine says, okay, we are fatigued. We have been fighting for 3 years with no end in sight. And if we lose more and more, at least let's now save our souls and run away. And there have been desertions reported in some areas of fighting. Again, this is something that has to be verified. All you can tell is by looking at the actual area occupied on the ground, like 𝗟𝗡𝗙 Chakrabarti was doing with us, to really know who has control of what. Now, if there is a direct NATO-Russia confrontation, then that could really throw the war wide open. So these are all the different links that we have got, based on which we have come up with this monologue. And viewers are welcome to pause here and take a look at it, and then you can go and look at the different links, and then you will get the stories. And that's where we stop now. I would like to wrap this up by saying that there is really a concerted push on part of Trump to try and wrap this thing up as quickly as possible. He doesn't want this to linger. America does not have the resources to keep providing aid to Ukraine, and we are also seeing some internal battles in Ukraine. That is indicative that there is a climax in progress. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.